What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new Major Ben Gaming video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day as always. Now, we are already getting into PlayStation 6, literally 1 week after we've had the PS5 Pro reveal, and we are getting our first PS6 rumor from a very reliable leaker, which is actually discussing the fact that PlayStation will be yet again going with AMD to ensure backwards compatibility for all their past titles from PS4, 5, and then obviously running on PlayStation 6 and the PS5 Pro, etc. So this is actually from a very reliable source. So let's look at the news and just read through some bits here. So as you can see, new PS6 report claims AMD will be designing the console's chip. Now, every time they decide to go out and start developing the new console, they will kind of have a almost bidding war between different chip manufacturers like Intel and AMD. So let's just read through this and see what's actually been going on. So AMD has allegedly won out against Intel in the PS6 chip battle, meaning the manufacturer will continue to provide Sony with internal components for its next generation consoles. That's according to Reuters, who state in a new PS6 report that AMD has been contracted by Sony for the design and fabrication of the chip for the next generation of PlayStation consoles. Sources claim that the deal was secured in 2022, with AMD winning out against rival chip manufacturer Intel in the bidding process. I think this is great news, to be honest, because obviously they've been with AMD for a while. The relationship is very much there with Sony, and also at the same time just backwards compatibility being a simple task running on the same type of hardware. It seems like the decision-making process eventually whittled down to both AMD and Intel. However, it's possible that backwards compatibility for PS6 may have been the deciding factor. Moving from AMD, which made the PlayStation 5 chip, to Intel would have risked backwards compatibility, which was a subject of discussion between Intel and Sony engineers executives, says the report. It continues, ensuring backwards compatibility with prior versions of the PlayStation would have been costly and taken engineering resources. Allowing PlayStation users to play games that they have purchased for older systems is a feature Sony often includes in a next generation system. We don't yet know the extent of Sony's plans for backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 6 yet, and we probably won't for a number of years yet, but according to the report, it seems that Sony is keen to carry over support for the best PlayStation 5 games and hopefully older generations, including PS4. Backwards compatibility aside, sticking with AMD seems like the same safe bet here. The California-based manufacturer provided the chips for both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles. Thus, it's safe to say the company is more comfortable with console hardware. There we go. That's kind of it. And we even heard Mark Cerny talk at the event about the relationship between AMD at the PS5 Pro event. About the relationship between AMD and the PlayStation and the console itself, with various things like how a lot of the features like the RDNA 4 stuff that we're going to be seeing in PlayStation 5 Pro is obviously then coming to PC. They very much co-develop a lot of the features, and I think it's really good to see actually from the console space a relationship this close, meaning that AMD really is wanting to do the best that they can. And I fully agree on this decision, because at the end of the day, a chip switch from different companies, like they said in this article, is going to be incredibly expensive to develop some sort of backwards compatibility on, like, from AMD to Intel. That's going to cost a lot more money and development for them to actually work around with an Intel chip. So obviously it makes the most sense, but I just think this is all really interesting that we're already starting to see, things heat up. We are now, remember, in the middle of the generation. Like, it's 4 years now, or it will be in, like, I can't remember if it's October or November, I always forget, but it's going to be 4 years since PlayStation 5 was actually coming into our homes. I think we had it delivered in November or something, which is going to be similar to what we're getting with PS5 Pro, and obviously we're getting that mid-gen refresh, or at least I should say for PlayStation this is the mid-gen. Maybe for Xbox we were actually past that last year, if the rumors and leaks so far, not leaks really, but rumors are true, then obviously Xbox is going to be targeting potentially a 2026 window for their next generation console, and then PlayStation 6 like maybe 2027 or 2028. So it's obviously a way off for PlayStation, but maybe not so much Xbox. We actually may be not far off from the next Xbox coming out in potentially end of like 2026 or something, so just a couple of years away, which would be very interesting. And we haven't really, I certainly haven't heard any sort of rumors or leaks about the chips that maybe they're going with. So I don't know if they're going with a very much a PC building kind of system. I think it's going to be very, very different the next Xbox, and it does concern me slightly, as we talked about the other day in one of the videos, where I think this whole thing of Xbox not competing in the same way is going to become a problem with Sony's pricing, because they're going to realize they can kind of price people whatever they want. Because to be honest, that's kind of what happens when you're a market leader and there's not a lot of competition. It often is bad for the consumer. So I hope that Xbox do something really, really good, and I actually kind of am liking the sound of what they may be doing, which is kind of having a more open box where things like Steam may be able to run on this thing, because I think you would get a lot of PC fans who actually would just buy a console, like an Xbox console that can run Steam, to just have in their living rooms. It's like it would not just be a console gamers thing, it would also be a PC gamers thing, because it would be a PC still, because it's running the Steam library that they would be buying games on, meaning they could have a home console in their living room and have their PC set up in their desk, their desk setup or whatever, and then have actually a console for TV use that's really good. It works straight away. You boot it up with a controller, really simple kind of stuff, but they can just play their Steam libraries. I like the sound of that, but again, I'll be very interested to see what's happening and the price point of these things with Sony as well. I'm very, very curious to see if this PS5 Pro pricing of £699 is going to carry across the next gen, because I'm the opposite to everybody else. A lot of people are saying this is really like going to be going up and up and up from here, and we're potentially going to see PS6 start at like $699 or maybe more. I don't think so, because I think Sony very well know that their base console is the mass consumer product where they will want to take a hit on it to get people in the ecosystem and buying games, and then they know that mid-gen refresh is very much a thing for the very hardcore PlayStation fans like myself, who will go out and buy this thing to play their games at better resolutions, better frame rates or whatever, but then their base console is always going to be the one that takes the hit on the cost, and they actually lose a bit of money on each unit at first or whatever, and they kind of know that. So I'm hoping that that is going to stay the same. I don't know, of course, but that's my kind of opinion on that. But we will have to see. I'm very interested to see what more rumors, because we're just going to be hearing more and more and more stuff now throughout the next like 4 years on the build up to PlayStation 6. We're a way off, obviously, but it's still exciting to hear things like the chip manufacturers and what route they're going with stuff, because it makes a difference to the end product that we see. So I just wanted to report on that. So I know, guys, we're a long way away. Please don't have a go at me. I'm just reporting on stuff because I like to bring you guys the news and do it in my way. So thank you for watching. Do leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. I'll be back streaming again at some point soon. Sometimes it's a little bit like difficult to know exactly when I'm doing stuff, but I will schedule streams where I can. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.